Hey guys, it's Toby Morrison here from CFS Health, and on the other end, we have Egil Smith Mayer. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And where are you from, Egil?
I'm from Norway,
Nor-
Scandinavia.
Awesome. So hello to all the Norwegians. And funnily enough, the cool thing about this is there's probably a lot of people in Norway who are experiencing chronic fatigue syndrome. I know we get a bunch of emails every single month from people in all over Europe, basically just saying there's no help in my country. And you know, you're one of those people that were lucky enough to do our program. And you know, we were just talking before the recording, and you know, I wanted to do this interview to talk about your experience. One, what you've experienced, but two, where you're at now. And when we jumped on Zoom, just quickly, I said, "How are you going?" And you just said, "Did you say effing amazing?" I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it's just amazing to be myself again, to not be run by symptoms, to just the just to be able to breathe and to not have headaches and all the other issues. Yeah.
And you said to me at the start, you said you have this phrase now, which
Yeah.
is
Life is good.
Yeah.
The stranger things, like breathing in fresh air, it's difficult to describe the things you appreciate after being sick for so long and being down in the gutter. Yeah. And so I remember when I joined, I had this goal that when I was recovered, I should be able to run just for the sake of it. But when I did recover, I had changed my mindset. So running isn't an option anymore, but I want to hike in the mountains, to live a more slow life than I did before.
Yeah, I remember you posting wins, because every single week inside our program we have an accountability check-in, and I remember you posting wins like, you know, 1 hour hike in the mountains, and you were taking photos of you in these beautiful pristine mountains of, you know, going for a really long hike and feeling good. And I remember one of your goals when you wrote down, when you joined, we have 3 goals to ask you, and one of your goals was to go for a hike and not feel like shit afterwards. And now you're doing it, you know.
Yeah, last weekend I went for a 6-hour hike.
6 hours?
Yeah. It's up in the snowy mountains and in the middle of summer. So and just to be able to sit there and drink the ice cold water coming from the glacier, just amazing.
Oh my God.
So,
I mean, even healthy people probably can't do that. I mean, people who are watching are probably thinking, geez, you know, like, did you even have chronic fatigue syndrome? Like, it's pretty amazing. Tell us before, at your worst, what was going on? Tell me the symptoms. Tell me what was going on in your life at that time.
Sleep was a big one. I think when I really got sick, I almost didn't sleep for half a year.
Wow.
And you get it messes you up. It's like you're upside down, and it just propels from there. I also had chronic headaches every single day for maybe 1 to 2 years. And it's actually funny, because when you ask me the question, it's kind of difficult to remember now, because all of a sudden it's all in the past. That's right. It went so fast when you first found out how to recover.
Yeah, you definitely, you know, I mean, like you said in your progress form, you were kind of starting to improve and get better already. But when you joined the program, it was like everything came together and everything kind of made sense for you, and you just basically implemented exactly what you needed to do at the right time, and things started getting better. Your sleep got better, your nutrition and gut health started getting better. You started understanding this less is more mentality and building up appropriately. And you had huge mindset breakthroughs. I remember on one of our group coaching sessions, it was incredible. I don't know if you remember, but we had a session, and you just had this epiphany of like, wow, like, I can do things as a healthy person, and I don't need to see myself as a sick person anymore. And you kind of had this amazing breakthrough. And not to say that chronic fatigue syndrome is in your head, but certainly it does affect your mindset and the anxiety and the secondary depression that can come with this. And so mindset's a big part of this game, is retraining your brain and your nervous system. And it's about going about it appropriately. So, and what else were some symptoms? Did you have like leg pain, muscle soreness, sore throat kind of stuff?
One thing is, I had this, what do you call it? Brain fog. Yeah.
That's right.
I didn't have the muscle pains, but I was so weak when I hit rock bottom that my legs would shiver when I tried to walk. And so to come from that and to be able to hike for 6 hours, quite incredible. And I remember at the time, I had this goal of going for walks every day. But I think they were kind of, I was living so much in my head, I wasn't connected to my body. So the goal was to go for walks, but I didn't listen to my body if it was right for me, or maybe I should have gone for shorter walks.
You weren't tuning in. You didn't. Yeah, you weren't.
No.
There was no connection and relationship with your body. And
Here.
yeah,
Here.
Yeah,
So,
and guys like Egil, we have an amazing program, and Egil, isn't it true? Like, all the members are just incredible from all around the world. But I have to say this about you. Whenever you were on a group call with us, we could always feel your presence, and you always had great advice to give, and you're always learning, and you always had a curious mindset, and you were really like the student in the class, trying to soak up everything, and then also just curiously applying what it was. And I'm going to say it for you, but basically what happened is you stopped trying so hard, and again, you weren't desperate. You weren't coming from a place of desperation anymore. You just stopped. You gave up doing that, and you finally invested in yourself, and you decided, that's it. I'm just going to do what's appropriate for me and build on this and tune into what's true for me, because your whole life's changed. You were director of a massive company in Norway. Can I say, with the relationship, you went through some relationship struggle. You've got 2 kids, is that right?
Yeah.
This is an incredible shift in reality and in your life, going from probably the heights of success, then the depths of despair, and now almost like this reborn Egil, who's, you can see, is just, you're so present. And and you told me you started work 2 weeks ago, and incredible. Like, we were talking about this not only like 4, 5, 6 months ago, talking about the potential for you to go back into work, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go back into the same work, and I want to do something physical now, and you're exploring that, and you're really integrated back into life, and it's just,
yeah. I think hope was a big issue for me, because here in Norway, nobody would give you hope, because there wasn't any solution for chronic fatigue syndrome. So I think that was the biggest thing, actually, joining the program and meeting up with others having the same thing, and also actually realizing I had done a lot of work compared to some of the others, so I could start to recognize that I was about to recover. I had done a lot of work. So I think that was really a big one for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people have said that, like, you know, to be confirmed that what you're doing is correct, and then confirming to yourself, you know, like watching a few of the modules in the program, or getting a coaching session, or watching someone else being coached. You know, you did that a lot as well in the group coaching sessions. When someone has a question and we do a hotspot coaching session, you're always taking stuff from there going, oh yeah, I can apply that in my life, you know. And so for you, hope, and I think that's what most people, you know, need. We need to hope to wake us up in the morning, right? To look forward to something, which is big for chronic fatigue syndrome, because most people are told they can't get better or there's nothing they can do. And then it just leaves them clueless. They start spending thousands of dollars on supplements and all these different types of medication, which might be helpful, but usually isn't the answer. And, you know, it's not the complete answer, at least in my experience, and was working with thousands of people. And then to see you kind of integrate all the different aspects of recovery and gain it, you know, whether that is getting your sleep right, your nutrition right, your mindset right, your gut health right, reconditioning your body, that was a big one. Going from not being able to walk, you know, your legs shaking, and just, you know, and not just to mention that, but the stress. Imagine going through having to not be able to work in the company that you own. You had to, you sold in the end, you know, going through a divorce, having 2 kids, then buying a house, you're renovating the house at the moment. You put up some photos in our group, you know, which is fun for you. It's a cool experience to do a transformation. Like, you know, it's tough.
That was magic. And I think I told you in a group session that when I bought the house and had to do all the moving, I kind of forgot to be sick for a week, because I wasn't body checking myself all the time. And I think I'd come to a place where I wasn't rushing it. That was also a main thing. I was in the moment. And I think that was maybe the big turning point when I was, you know, because when you get this hope in the group, you start to think forward, planning for the future, instead of being stuck in all the misery.
Well, that's what we do, like every week, isn't it? It's always, what are we doing this week? What are we focusing on? What can, you know, specifically, what can you do individually? And that's exactly right. It's about moving forwards. There's no point dwelling on the past. Sometimes it's important to process the past, but not dwell on it and stay stuck there. And that's why we're getting incredible results in this program, because it's all about accountability.
And I love the Friday wins, you know, to train yourself to every Friday to pick some positives from the past week and reading others. Yeah, that was great.
Was there any ones that stuck out to you? Like was there any other members who stuck out to you? Like, you remember their post the most? Every week, like there's so many different people.
I remember Natalie had one once where she kind of summed up, I think it was in the 2.0 group. She summed up all the things she'd been able to do over the last period. So it was a great inspiration to read others who had come further than you, to encourage you. And I don't think anyone, you know, friends, family, really knew how sick I was, because I was always trying to not hide it, but you don't want to complain every time you meet people. So to be able to have this group where you could be honest and share both the negatives and the positives.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about the group, I think, and I mean, you might not have experienced this before, but there's quite a lot of negative support groups out there where they put you down, and they, if you start getting better, they say, oh no, it's whatever, da da da. And then there's our group where it's like you can express yourself and you can ask solution-based questions and be practical, and then you can be focused on the wins. And how important, imagine, actually two things. I want to go back just one step. You mentioned that period where you forgot to be sick, and even you mentioned to me before this call, you said, Toby, like, it's such a strange feeling just being normal again, like working again, and you're thinking about the future. I'm sure you've got lots of different, I mean, you're such a resourceful person that I think that you're just going to do some wonderful, amazing things, whatever you would like to do, really. But not focusing on the symptoms, and that's one of the biggest things that we teach. We do not track symptoms in our program. We track progress. We sometimes track food intake and activity to find our baseline, but ultimately it's about finding your baseline and tuning into your body and then doing what's appropriate. When you let go of that symptom tracking and you just tune into your body, that was a pivotal change in the direction of your recovery, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was definitely less is more. I think I'd read half the internet and was so up into micromanaging, and I just had to let go of a couple of things and to focus more on the big issues like sleep.
Yes.
And not to be afraid of not getting to sleep. I think that was a big one for me, to just let go. It's okay if I can't sleep tonight. It won't kill me.
No. All this stressing out over out, making yourself worse, and micromanaging is a job in itself. And your body's already got a job in itself to heal itself, and that's why I mean, micromanaging, when maybe initially for a week or two is okay, but like long term it keeps you stuck. It doesn't actually move you forwards. And so Gil, guys, is a perfect example of someone who let go of that when the time was right. When the time was right, it helped you for a little bit. It got you to a certain point, but there was a point where we had to let that go, and we had to loosen the grip a little bit. And is what we talk about in the pro. You would have heard him say that a million times, loosen the grip. And, you did. And you over time, not overnight, over time, and less is more initially. It's not forever. And this is you just bloody hiked 6 hours in the mountains and drank this like fresh water, which I'm super jealous about. Sounds amazing. But, you can go and do what you want to do eventually, but initially a less is more approach is so appropriate for recovery. Now, Gil is healthy. He doesn't need to do less is more all the time. I'm sure now you've got the wisdom and knowledge to know when to go slow and to when to speed up and do whatever you want to do.
I often say that I love being lazy, because when I was working and living this stressful life, I never allowed myself to do nothing. And I remember very, very early on when I was sick, I read this Norwegian article. There was a Norwegian doctor. He meant that the solution was to do more of nothing. And I think it's quite right.
Yeah.
I love sitting out in the mornings to drink like a cup of coffee, which I have 1 cup every week. So I still have to take some I can't do everything I want still, but once a week, every Saturday, I have to have this cup of coffee sitting outside and just breathing the air and really tasting the coffee. You know, before I was only just
You were
swallowing.
drinking. You were drinking the coffee to go and run a company and be stressed out. And
Yeah.
you know, when you say you can't do everything all the time, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as saying, well, my body's saying no to coffee every single day right now. And I say this, it's a healthy thing too. You know, it's like, oh, Toby, should I drink coffee? It's like, well, what's your body say? Tune into it. That's called health. That's what it's about. Like you said before, it wasn't working.
So that's actually the great part about getting sick. It's your life actually gets better when you recover. It's actually kind of worth it. Yeah.
I mean, you don't recommend it, but
no. But I think some of us sometimes the only way to learn is to do it the hard way. Sorry to say, but definitely in my case, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think what you're really saying is when you've been through something so hard, when it almost takes your entire life away, which it did, when you start getting it back, everything just is sweeter, you know, like, you know, the hikes mean more, the water in your mouth means more when you're up on the glacier. Like, you know, it really makes sense when you post those photos inside the group of you know, your beautiful landscape hikes and stuff that you go on, the appreciation that you have, but also the appreciation to just sit on your deck on the weekend and have your coffee, like, which you love, you know? So I think, you know, I think it's right. There's this balance between not too much, but then not too little. And this is what I say to everybody, you know, it's about doing the right thing at the right time. And, you know, what you did was do the right things at the right time and step by step. And this is why we always say it's a step-by-step process. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not as easy as just watching a few videos and going, okay, cool, I get it. And then, no, you've got to actually apply it and you know, and do the work. And it's
yeah, I love the phrase finding your baseline, because when you look back at it, it's really the turning points for everyone.
Yeah. It's the starting point. It's the starting point and the turning point for many. And oh, man, I just almost feel like crying. Like, you've just done so well. And I mean, it's just so epic to see. And you know, I'm sure your kids are so happy as well. Egil, what would have it been like if you know, like, how valuable was it being in the program for you? Like, I reckon eventually you would have recovered anyway, because I just think that that's just the type of person that you are. But I don't know. I think it might have taken a few years, potentially.
I think I saved a lot of time, and I wish I'd found the program much earlier. Yeah, because when you're all alone with the illness, you use a lot of time to just find information and trying and failing and yeah, and especially the group kind of thing, to not be alone. I think a lot of people should have had that much earlier in the illness.
It's one of a kind. You know, there's nothing really like it out there, like we've got in this program. I think because of the application process, the type of people that join this program, and the willingness and readiness to make change. And I think that's what's so important, is that everyone who comes into this program is just ready to make change. And they're not, you know, they're you know, we make sure they're ready, because we don't want you to come in all distressed and going, oh my God, I need to, you know, you know, what's that word? Desperation, you know, coming from a place of desperation, we kind of slap that away pretty fast because we know that's not what's going to help you. And we've got to get the fundamentals right first, and then, you know, and then there's those extra things like the mindset shifts that you can have along the way, and the loosening the grip, and the stop trying so hard, and the stop micromanaging, and the letting go of the old self and building the new self, and what are your new values, and what are your new goals, and where do you want to go in your life, and thinking bigger. And, you know, a lot of people don't know, but basically we have an invitation only program at the end of our main program, and this is for people who kind of want to step into life and start to do more and be more, and integrate into life again. And this is not recovery focused. It's really special and unique in this way. And, you know, there's a point where, and Egil got to this point where he doesn't need to focus on his recovery anymore. He needs to focus on his life. And so he entered into the lifestyle integration program. You know, how long ago was that? I can't even remember.
No, you know, time flies when you enjoy yourselves. So, but the 2.0 group was also amazing, because I remember I made this list of dreams and goals for the rest of my life. And it was fantastic to be focused on the positives and not all the shit anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I also like the kind of, you know, connecting through the internet, because I remember back when I was really sick here in Norway, we got this, we went to this camp, a lot of CFS sick people.
Oh, yeah.
For 6 weeks. And every one of us was much sicker afterwards. And so to be able to connect through the internet, I think it's a much better way especially for our type of illness. So if you're not up to it one day, you can do other things.
You can relax and and, you know, and you can go about the program in your own way. And that's why we do it, because you've got to heal in your own environment. You know, that's going to be the best place for you to do it in. And so that's what you've done. So Egil, what would you say to someone who's a bit unsure about joining the program, or, you know, there's a lot of people who really want to do it, but they think, you know, it might be overwhelming, or it might not work, and then they're going to fail again. Like, you know, what's your experience there?
No, there's no doubt in my mind they have to try it, because it's unlike anything else I've experienced through my illness. And also, I know someone thinks about the costs. You know, it's not free, but being sick, it's not free either. So for me, it was an investment into my own health. Now I'm working again, and I can actually earn money instead of being sick for another 5 years. So I think that's a big point for a lot of people to invest in their own health. And I think you become another person when you get out of this illness. And I know for myself, I want to help others to experience the same as I have. And I think a lot of us do, when we finally find the solution, that we want to help others to be able to live their lives also.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh my God. I can already see things happening for you in the future.
Because there's no help. But I say that recovering from CFS is kind of easy, but it's very hard at the same time.
It's simple. It's simple is probably better than easy, but it's hard. It's simple but hard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Continue. Yeah, you can talk about it.
There's no big solutions.
Yeah, there's no miracle complex. We don't have to do.
No.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, and we even have an integrative doctor, like Dr. Olivia. You've done sessions with her, you know, and it's like, you know, the fundamentals that she teaches is so important, and at the same time, a lot of it's simple. We're not complicating. We're simplifying it to make it easy and digestible to apply.
Yeah. And I remember Gemma. She had this sentence, "What are my needs right now?" And I use it all the time, every day. What are my needs now? So it's early in the morning here, so I think I'm going to have breakfast.
Yeah,
that's my needs right now, and we'll see. Yeah, I love that one.
You're living an incredible life. You know, it's just amazing, and I'm sure people who are watching this are going, far out. This is incredible. But I also want you guys to know that Egil, you know, as special as he isn't any more special than you. And Egil, you'd agree with, well, I hope you'd agree with me there. But you know, you're like, no, I'm the special.
So no, it's possible for everyone.
Yeah.
I just wish that more people could get the help. Yeah, because life is good.
Yeah. And I appreciate you doing this interview, because this is what it's about, is to show people that it is possible. And, you know, and you're not the only one, thankfully. And you saw in the program, there's just so many people, whether you're a 1 out of 10 and you're really, really struggling, or you're a 7 out of 10, improvement happens within the individuals. And at the end of the day, progress is what matters. And I think one thing that you did really well, Egil, is you weren't trying to improve everything 100%. You were just trying to make a bit of progress. And I think when you drop that idea of trying to chase, you know, huge things and overnight success, and you just focused on just daily progresses, I feel like when you really started to hit your straps. And it's incredible. Any final words that you want to kind of share with anyone, you know, if they're struggling out there, or that, you know, imagine, you know, I'm sure there's lots of people in Norway, but all around the world, we've got people in 51 countries in our program. You want to share anything with them?
I think it must be the one thing I needed the most. It's hope. It's not hopeless. There's hope. And even though you feel misery, you can recover. And there's a lot of us that has recovered. And as Gemma said, little by little becomes a lot.
Amen.
Yeah. So yeah, some journey.
That's crazy. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, a lot of people on the outside think that a lot of our stories, people who get better, it's miraculous. But when I'm seeing you every week on our calls, and I'm seeing you do the work, and I'm seeing you checking in, and, you know, it's that little by little becomes a lot, and it's slowly progressing over time. And you've done the work. You know, it wasn't overnight. It's not a miracle. You've done the work, and you got the result. You're getting the results. You know.
And I also remember when I first joined, I thought it would take me several years to recover. But suddenly you find this breakthrough, and time flies, and suddenly you're there. That was really amazing to just find this. You know, when I moved into my house, I forgot to be sick. I know it sounds strange, but when you've done a lot of the work to get there, it's like you know, like flying, like trying to fly. Suddenly you're not stuck with anxiety. You're ready.
Yeah, you're ready to let go, and
and
like you said, you know, before you joined the program, you were doing some of these things that we were teaching, and then when you came in, it was almost like everything clicked, and it was just that extra bit of help here and there, and doing the right things at the right time was kind of the thing that kind of helped you the most, and letting go, and then progressing appropriately and building up, reconditioning your body again, and just having that less is more approach, but more consistently every day, which just helped you just go and live an amazing life. It's absolutely incredible. Like I said, I'm just so grateful that you got to be part of our program. I'm grateful that I got to work with you, because you were such a joy. We had so much fun on our calls, and you know, a lot of our members benefited from you being in there as well. And as you know, that everyone kind of adds their own unique value just by being there and sharing their experience and wisdom, and sometimes lending a bit of support depending on what someone's asking for. But it's a pretty unique, special experience, and a really amazing group. So you're part of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks heaps, Egil. I really appreciate it. And for anyone who is inspired by this, make sure you let us know. And if you want help and you just want to move forwards with this as Egil has, then there'll be a link on this video somewhere where you can apply for the program and go for it. Like it's just, what have you got to lose, you know? And I think if you can't afford it right now, that's totally fine. There's some brilliant resources. We'll leave some free links for you as well, as always. And if you also want some fast-tracked help and some support and accountability and hope, as Egil said, you know, invest in yourself, put yourself first, and or at least equal to the people in your life, and show that to yourself, because if this feels right and it's aligned with you, then it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, you got anything to add there, Egil?
I think one of the thoughts in my mind is you have also experienced this, and Gemma has experienced this. So
yeah, what about
people in the program has had CFS, so it's, you know.
Yeah. I say that when people come into our program, it's like you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to make anything up. It's just you're fully understood. There's no need to explain anything, and we're going to focus on what you need to do to move forwards, you know. So that's the most powerful. Yeah.
So I just wish that more people can experience this and get well. Yeah.
Well, sharing your story is that too. You know, I think I'm sure people right now, you guys at home, are feeling the inspiration, and imagine seeing photos of Egil going from nothing to hiking for hours in these beautiful mountains in Norway. We got to see that every single week, and you know, that's inspiration right there. So thanks again, heaps, for sharing your story, Egil. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, mate. We might have to do a round 2. Thanks, Egil.
Yeah.
Bye.